I will be absolutely non-polite, because my plane next 5:30. In this case, I give my speech to the organizer, and I will follow the German tradition. The speech must be short, the words must be long, and I think this not be bad for you. Martin was a friend of us. Martin was more than Martin for all of us. And when I had an invitation from Moscow State University, be chairman of the faculty of creative culture management, I said, okay, I agree, but if we invite Martin as a visiting professor, and he worked with my students, and you know, he was the best professor in my stuff, much better than I. He was absolutely admire cleverness, you know. He gives them much more than museum manager. He gives them more as personality, as person who understands what this means culture in the world. He understands this culture, more than economy, more than politics, because without culture we not exist. That's absolutely understandable, because if we talk about contemporary democracy, we know this means contemporary democracy without culture. In Germany, this know very well. And in Russia, this know very well. Without cultures, not economy, not democracy, not real human life. And Martin understands this. This I felt very, very strong. For him, this will be the culture was the more than life, you know, or the equal than life. At the same time, I make one quotation from him. He said, he would talk about the peace. For me, Europe is simply synonymous with peace. Hope for a peaceful future based on sharing solidarity and tolerance. For him, Europe was a synonymous of culture. But not just Europe. Our colleagues from Africa and explained this. He feeling the multicultural valuable of the world very strong, much better than somebody else. He was a man of the world, of course, a huge world. He was a man of he was a peaceful, he was a pacifist, but he was, who understand what this means fighting. He was, as each visionary, as each missionary, he understand he much fighting against the stupid people, against not educational people, against the stupid politician, even against the stupid colleagues. And he created museum as a great center of the new human knowledge. This was very important for us. In this whole, our colleagues from Russia, Silfira Trigulova, some others, and they agree with me. He transformed understanding about what this means museum. Museum not just collection. Museum as an institute of real active social life. And for him this was very important. I'm stopped because I really late to my plane, but I must say one important thing. He was a man with a very special sense of humor. And when he was chosen for the post among many candidates, if required to then British Prime Minister of David Cameron's decision to approve, this was an absolutely unique case in the museum world of Britain, Martin used the joke that he was not the first German in Victoria and Albert Museum history since Queen Victoria's husband, Prince Consort Albert. And this was true, because Consort there was a Saxon Herzog, and he was a Herzog. He was a Herzog of Saxonia, and this was very important. And he feeling this crossing point in Europe, in world, because the same moment he said, the Prince Albert's father Duke of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha, was a served as general of Russian Empire Army against the war with Napoleon. And this was absolutely boil of the crossing nation, crossing ethnos, crossing culture. Martin was a great man and very happy that he was. Unfortunately, he was with us today. But, you know, in airplane, I drink shots of vodka. We drink with him. I'm sorry, we drinker. He was drinker, I was drinker. This is normal for museum director. And I drink shots for him. And my advice, after this sophisticated speeches, drink cup of him and he will be very happy. Thank you.